Hey folks, Dr. Bob McCauley. Here's my critique of Dr. Oz and what he said about the documentary, What the Health.
So, this What the Health movie.
Isn't that incredible?
Driving the world crazy. Everyone's vegan now.
It's unbelievable.
That's the thing to do?
Dr. Oz, I really don't know much about him. I never watch his show. He's come under a lot of criticism for promoting weight loss supplements or the coffee bean extract, this kind of thing. But when a doctor is right, when I hear a medical doctor speaking my language, then I want to point it out, and he does a pretty good job here.
Arguments about conspiracy theory and what's causing it. I'm just going to point out as a doctor what the real issue here is. We don't realize food can fix it. When you walk into a grocery store, you are walking into a pharmacy, my friends.
I'm speechless. I mean, that kind of sums it up. Yeah, when you walk into a supermarket and you see all those fresh fruits and vegetables, yeah, that's a pharmacy. You don't hear doctors talking this way very often. They really don't look at food as medicine. They kind of dance around that a little bit, and in the end, they've got a pill for you. They've got some kind of medication, some kind of treatment. They talk about diet and exercise in the most vaguest terms. Nobody knows what kind of diet you belong in. That's what the health was all about. That documentary was to tell us, look, if you remove animal protein from your diet, you won't have diabetes anymore. And the people on the show, the doctors, they weren't having any of that. No, they wouldn't hear a word about it. But here's a guy coming out and say, you walk into a supermarket, there's a pharmacy. I like that a lot. That's a good one. I'm going to start using it from now on. Food is in a pharmacy, and I'll make sure that I attribute that to Dr. Oz. I like that. Good job, Dr. Oz.
And the power of those foods to reverse chronic illnesses that probably drive 60-70% of all the healthcare money we spend in America, only you control that.
100% right there. You're the one who needs to make the decision. I mean, you go to your doctor. I mean, they're really just as clueless about health at the doctor's office as anywhere else. They really are. What they know at the doctor's office is medicine. So if you're looking for, it's a tablet, a pill. I mean, if you're looking for some kind of medication to get you straightened out, that's the place to go. If you're looking for health, that's not the place to go. Okay? The place to go for health is in the supermarket because, as Dr. Oz just said, it's a pharmacy. And he's 100% right.
Do the 80-20 rule and then lean into it.
Okay.
80% of the time, eat the right thing. I recommend breakfast and lunch, and then for dinner, go play a little bit with your friends.
So is that kind of like the everything in moderation?
Yeah, but it's more than moderation because for the average person thinks moderation is a couple soft drinks a day, right? They'll have their bagel for breakfast with their coffee.
Right.
Then, you cheat a little bit lunch and dinner while you messed up anyway. That's what happens in moderation.
Okay.
This actually is something that will make you feel so darn good, and nothing feels better than feeling healthy.
Well, I could not have possibly said that better. Nothing replaces how you feel when you're incredibly healthy. I mean, if you wonder why I'm a vegan, I mean, I love dairy products. I love cheese, but I just know that's not good for me. I love pizza. So these things, the idea that these things, you start going vegan or vegetarian, you just lose your taste for them all. It took me a long time to not want to eat a lot of the stuff that I used to eat. It took many years. But so you don't just lose it overnight. And a lot of people they have kind of crazy stories about how they just became a vegetarian. They just don't want meat anymore and all that. Usually the cravings never go away. But when you get to this level where I am, feeling the way I do every day, you wake up full of energy, clear thinking. You don't have aches and pains. I don't have to worry about going to the doctors. And you get here, you don't want to go back. It's like literally if you lived in poverty and suddenly you got yourself a good job and a nice house and you were making really good money, are you going to want to go back to poverty? Yeah, it wasn't really so bad. No, you had nothing then. And when you get to this level of health, you're so much more productive. And he's going to talk about that in a minute. And I'm going to comment on that as well because that's what this is all about. This is what it is for me. It's not for me. This is not saying, hey, the doctors are wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. See, I've been down that road, but they've never been down my road. That's the point. They have not. No one's ever done their studies on, veganism and raw veganism and all that kind of stuff and a raw food diet. No one's really done those studies and looked at the people that are actually doing it and the way I'm doing it. Because I don't want to hear about somebody else. I hear the craziest stories on the internet. I became a vegan and I got sick. I got sick after 5 years. I got sick after 10 years. I mean, I don't know. Well, here I am 20 years. I take spirulina and chlorella, the two most powerful foods right there, for my protein. You can't go wrong. So I'm feeling fantastic. So this is why I do this, and that's what he points out here.
People trade money for it. People trade vices for it. It's worth the investment, but you got to try first. Then 3 days right now of eating vegan, just to see what it's like. And then if you love it, stay on it. If you don't like it so much, nudge it back towards where you were. But you're going to find yourself rebooting your taste buds and your general physique. I haven't met a person yet, and I'm talking about people who have 10 medications, they're way overweight, who within a couple of days realize, my goodness, I don't need as much of these meds.
Once again, there's the point I always make. People say, do you give people medical advice? Medical advice? I don't know anything about medicine. So somebody comes in all day, should I keep taking my medication? I said, look, what you have to do, and exactly what he just said here, Dr. Oz, you have to put your body into a position where it doesn't require medication anymore. That's all. I can't tell you to stop taking it. Quite frankly, it could be the only thing that's keeping you alive, especially if it's heart medication. But you need to get your body back in shape, and then you won't require the medications. You require the medications because you're not healthy. And that's what I'm about. I'm telling people how to be healthy. And this is a medical doctor telling you, basically, eat the right foods and you won't need those medications. That's my message exactly. And when I hear my message being repeated, especially from somebody in the medical establishment, I really like it. And I like what he's saying here. Good job, Dr. Oz. Not quite done.
I feel so much more alert and awake than I've ever felt. They're not walking through life like a zombie. They sleep better, they're more alert, they function better at work, they get paid more because they do a better job. That's what we want to be in the ATL.
Exactly. 100% exact. I mean, what I always tell people is that, to me, I'm just talking personally, most important thing to me is my relationship with God. Most important thing. Second thing is my health. Third is my family. So I had people even say to me, boy, they're sure down on the list. Well, they're not down on the list. Nothing's greater than God. And number two, I need to take care of me so I can take care of them. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're sick and you're not making money anymore, you're not a provider, you become a burden to your family. You've gone from being an asset to a liability. I mean, you're creating problems. You're sucking up resources. You're not a provider. You got to have somebody come out and work for you, or go out and work for you and bring money back and bring food back because you can't do it anymore. So if you really want to take care of your family, take care of yourself. You can't protect them. You can't protect them physically, psychologically. You can't help them. You're too sick. It's your responsibility to stay healthy so you can take care of others. And that's the way I look at it. I don't really look at it as a selfish thing. I want to take care of my family.
My friends in the faith community always say this, the temple of your soul is so sacred. How come this not be a part of our covenant?
And now we have a medical doctor who's talking about religion, the faith community, and he's basically saying the temple of God. Now, Dr. Oz is a Muslim. So I've always said this always cuts across all lines of faith. I don't care if you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Hindu. There is something like the body is the temple of God. Muslim, I don't care who it is. I wrote, this is my most recent book, God's Path to Disease-Free Living, what the scriptures tell us about health. That's my latest book. And, it talks about this being the temple of God. We want to honor the temple of God, honor the body we have. This is what is incumbent upon it. And this is exactly what he's saying here. And again, I'll say it one more time. I love this message. I don't know Dr. Oz. He's not a friend of mine. He's a big TV star. I'm never going to meet this guy. But when I hear something I like, I point it out. I don't know about all the other stuff on his show. He's been in some controversial things, fine. But what he's saying here, supermarkets, your pharmacy, yes.
Yes! Yes!
Your beef, this is your temple of God, is essentially yes.
Yes!
Take control of your own circumstances, your own destiny. Yes.
Yes!
This is exactly what I'm saying all the time. And don't put it into the hands of the medical community because they don't care about you. But God does and your family does. And that's who you should consider when you're eating a meal and when you're putting things into this temple and why you're doing it exactly. Because that's what the ultimate importance is. And Dr. Oz just hit on those so beautifully. I just wanted to go over this with you. Great job, Dr. Oz. I hope we hear more of it from people like him, people in the medical industry, in the medical establishment, and people with big voices, loud voices. That he has his own TV show. I love that. And some of these, Dr. Oz has been criticized for, putting up this and putting up that. That's because he goes into the natural area. The medical community does not want to hear about that.
Obligation to set the record straight so that people don't die.
At Harvard School of Public Health, where I did my public health degree.
Dr. Willett, stop for 1 second. That is not science. That's a lie, Travis.
They're very close-minded to anything natural. They just find herbal extracts, and they're unimproved by the FDA. He did a great job. I couldn't agree with you more. When you feel like this, believe me, folks, you're never going to want to go back. You're going to want to do what you got to do to stay here. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I live on a vegan, raw food diet, plant-based, living food diet. And I'm incredibly healthy. Been doing it 20 years. Dr. Bob McCauley, I'll see you next time. Visit us at watershed.net.
You don't realize food can fix it. When you walk into a grocery store, you are walking into a pharmacy, my friends.
Now that's what I'm talking about.